your recess?
Good.
Good? All right. So today we are going to be playing a game, a math game, Among Us. There we go. And so this little guy over here is going to help us find our answers, okay? So there's different strategies that we can use when we are taking a test. For example, you guys are taking your STAAR test, right? Mm-hmm. So there's multiple strategies that you can use to help you get to the right answer. One of the strategies that we're going to be working on today is called backwards design, okay? Mm-hmm. And the reason why we're doing backwards design, if you've taken a quick look at the worksheet that's on your desk, go ahead and write your name on the very top so that we know that you all received one. You will see only answer choices. Do any of y'all see questions on there? Mm-hmm. No. You will see only answer choices. So the way that we're going to play this game is that we are going to take a look at all of our answer choices, and we're going to try to see if we're able to solve the question without knowing the question. Mm-hmm. You think you can do that? Mm-hmm. All right. So let's take a look at number 1. Let's look at letter F. How do we read letter F? Can someone raise their quiet hand and tell me? Adrian?
23 and 5/10.
23 and 5/10. Now, there's an equal sign right there. On the other side of the equal sign, does that read 23 and 5/10? No. No. What does it say? Can someone read that side? This side right here. Adrian?
23 and 5/100.
23 and 5/100. Does that mean that they're the same? No. So are they equal to? No. All right, so we can cross this one out. What about letter G? Who wants to give letter G a try? Who wants to read that one? I need somebody else. James, you want to try it? Go ahead. 23 and 23 and 5/100. Now, look at the equal sign. Does it say the same thing on the other side? No. What does the other side say? Okay, so is that equal to? No. So we can cross that one out. As I'm crossing them out on the board, I want you guys to cross them out as well. Now, let's look at letter H. What does letter H say? How do we read letter H? Not thousands. Hundreds. Does it say the same thing on the other side? No, so we can cross this one out. What's left?
23 and 50 hundredths.
50 hundredths. Why do you think 50 hundredths, Viviana? Because on this side we can see that it has a 50 hundredths. Now, what do we need to do to this one to make this one true? What's the only thing that this one's missing? The 0 right here. Do you see that? Yeah. So now, if we were to use our mungus, look, this one is not going to work, so that's an imposter. This one's not going to work, that's an imposter. This one's not going to work, that's an imposter. What was our answer? Were we correct?
Yes.
Yes. Now, this one we did them together, right? What I want you to do for the second one that I'm going to show to you in a little bit, you guys are going to try it on your own and you're going to consult with your partner. You see the person sitting next to you? So you're going to work with your partner to kind of figure out if you are right or wrong, okay? And I will be here to guide you, all right? Take a look at the answers for the second question. Eyes on your paper, here we go. Take a look at your answer choices on number 2. What do you see on your answer choices? What form are they in? Decimal form, right? So what can we do to help us read these decimal forms? What can we change them to? or what can we convert them to?
Fractions.
Fractions. We can go from decimals to
Fractions.
fractions. Okay, how can we change the first decimal to a fraction? How do we read that first decimal? James, you want to try it? 6 and 1/10. Now, how do we write that? How do we write 6 and 1/10? 6, not 6 point, it's already on a decimal form. So we write the 6 because that's our whole number.
6 and
What's the fraction going to look like? 1/10. Do you see that? Okay, let's look at letter B. How do we read letter B?
6
Adrian?
6 and 100.
6 and 100. How do we write 6 and 100, Adrian?
Put a 6 and then put 1 and 100.
Put a 6,
And
1
and 100.
hundredths. Good job. Okay, let's look at letter C. How do we read that? Can somebody else give it a try? Look at the number. How do we read this? If it's only after the decimal, what number would it be under? Over? 10. So, how would we write that? 6/10. So it'll look like this. Good job, Brianna. Let's look at letter D. How do we read letter D? Adrian?
6 100.
6 hundredths. So 6/100. Now, question for you. And this is something that I want you to talk with your partners about. Are you able to figure out what the question is asking just by looking at this?
No.
Okay, turn and talk to your partner and discuss why this wouldn't work. Do we have a right answer? There has to be one right answer, but do we know exactly what the right answer might be?
No.
No. So try to talk to your partner on why this might not work for this question. Go ahead. What do you think? So tell him what you know. What do you know? Come on. Why would this not work, Viviana? What do you think, Adrian? Is it, do you think that we're able to see it just by solving it? No. So what I want you to realize on this question is that the backwards design might help you to figure out an answer for some questions, right? By looking at the answer choices first, but not for all of them. So on this case, guess what? We're gonna have to read the question. So let's read the question. It says, Larry has written 6/10 of his book report. Which decimal represents the part of the book report he has written? What is the question asking for? 6/10. And what form is it on? What do you think? Well, yeah, but what is this? What does that look like? A fraction. Did they give us fractions?
No.
They gave us what?
Decimals.
Oh, but look, what did we do? We converted them to fractions. So what's my answer here? Darian? C. C would be my answer. Look at this. Does this number match this? Yes, that would be my answer. Okay, look at your third question or your third answer choices. Take a look at those. What do we see here? What's the difference between 3 and 2?
It's 5/10.
We don't know that.
It's 2 and
Oh no, it's 2 and 5/10.
What form are they on?
fractions.
Fractions. So what do you think we're gonna have to do?
Decimals.
Convert them to decimals. Okay, so let's look at letter A. 25 hundredths. How do we write that in a decimal form?
2, 5, or
What number? 0.
5, 0.
0.
Point
Uh-huh.
0,
0.25.
5,
0.25. Because it's over 100, right? Okay, so we did A. Look at B. Look at B. How do we change B? How do we read B first?
5.0.
Not 5.0. How do we read B first? Adrian?
Oh,
5/10.
5/10. How do we write that in a decimal form?
0.5.
0.5. Good job. Viviana, you want to try C?
2 and 5/10.
Perfect. 2 and 5/10. How do we change that to a decimal?
2.50.
2.5. And you can add the 0, but right now we'll just leave it like that. Okay? All right. Take a look at D. How do we read D? Adrian?
2 and 5/100.
2 and 5 hundredths. How do we write that in a decimal form? 2.05. Okay, now pause and think. Take a look at the denominators of these fractions. By denominators, y'all know that it's these, right? What numbers are they in?
Hundreds and tens.
Hundreds and tens. We were able to solve these, or we were able to convert these fractions from fractions to decimals because they all had hundreds and tens as their denominators. What if they had a different number like over 8? Let's say that we have this fraction, 2 and 1/8. Were we able to change that to a decimal?
No.
No. We wouldn't be able to do that here as quickly as we did these, right? Okay, good. So, now, does this tell me, same thing as the other one, does that tell me an answer?
No.
No. There's one right answer, but do we know it?
No.
What are we gonna have to do, class?
Question.
Read the question. Let's see what it says. Antoine decorated 2 fits cakes and with chocolate icing. Which fraction is equivalent to this number? What's our answer? C. How do we know that?
Aren't like, if you take away the 0,
Uh-huh.
wouldn't C and D be the same thing?
C and D? No, because one is over 10 and the other one is over 100. So based on our place value, it would not be the same. And we wouldn't be able to take the 0 off of this one. 0 holds a spot. So regardless, there's always going to be a 0 here, but not here. Do you see that? So we found our answer because guess what? What was the question asking you for?
Which one was fewer?
And what's that? What form is that in?
Decimal.
Decimal? Do you agree?
Yep.
Do you agree?
Yep.
And we converted a fraction to a decimal, and so we were able to find that answer. Do you see that? All right. Look at number
4.
Look at number 3. Is it?
What?
Or 2? Let me see.
4.
Hold on, pause. Oops. here we go. Number 4, what form are our choices in?
Fractions.
Fractions. What are they in? Fractions. What are they in?
Fractions.
Fractions. They are in all fractions. What do we know? What can, based on what we already learned about fractions and converting them into decimals, and based on what we heard from the previous question, what do you notice here? I want you to take a quick look. Look at all of your answer choices. Tell me, what do you see?
8 ones, 3s, 2s,
What are those?
and 16
What are those called?
fractions.
They're called fractions, but do we know the difference, the names of the different numbers? What number is on top?
2 8s.
The
Numerator.
the numerator. What about on the bottom? What are those called? Denominators. Look at your denominators. What do you see in your denominators?
8,
8, 8, and 16. Are we able to convert these into decimals as easily as we did the other ones?
Yes.
No.
No, not really.
She just said.
Can you do that?
No.
Which ones are the only ones that we're able to do that with?
1/16.
Over
This says 1/16.
where? 1/16? Yeah. But the ones that we're able to convert as easily as we did were, look at your number 3. What are the denominators?
8.
Hundreds and tens. Okay. Now for this one, we really wouldn't be able to figure out what our answer is. So we would have to go up to our question and do what?
Look at the question.
Look at the question. The question says, the fraction 3/8 can be represented by this expression. This expression is over here. Look at that. Which fraction belongs in the box to complete the expression? What do you think? First of all, let's look at our expression. What is our expression saying? What do you think our expression is saying? 1/8 plus 1/8. But look, is there an equal on there?
No.
What are we doing here?
Oh, I know what it is.
We're adding. So if we're adding
Oh, I know
1/8
what it is.
plus
It's-
1/8, what do you think, Perseus?
I think it's 1/8.
You think it's 1/8. Why do you think it's 1/8?
Because it's 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8.
1/8
So it
plus
has to be
1/8.
1/8.
So are they all the?
Same.
They're all the same. So would that be our best choice?
Yes.
I think so.
I'm
But
so
now look.
smart.
There's one more piece that we need to take a look at. It says the fraction 3/8 can be represented by this expression. We need to watch out for this
Because
one.
you add the 3 ones and then leave the 8.
Yeah. So if we go with Perseus's answer and we bring 1/8 over here, what would that equal to?
Wait.
3 8s.
3/8. Why is it 8?
Because
The 8 stays.
That stays the same.
The denominator stays the
Same.
same. So was Perseus right?
Yes.
Yes. So F, imposter. G, imposter. Right? And J, imposter. That would not work. What was our answer? H. So we go back to the same thing that we were talking about earlier. Yes, this strategy can help us get to an answer, but we also have to make sure that if we don't get an answer right away, what do we need to do?
Go look at the question.
Go look at the question and kind of see what it is that we are doing. All right. Let's take a look. Turn your page over to number 5. Look at your choices for number 5. Is Is everybody on number 5?
Yep.
What do we see on number 5?
I know what it is.
2/4 plus 2/4
It's-
plus 3/4
I know what it
equals
is. It's
5/4
C.
plus 2/4
I think.
and then B 3/4
Okay.
plus 4.
Yeah, so we see this long equation. What is another word for a long equation? Do we know that? Expanded. Okay, great. So now, just by looking at this, what do we notice? We have some pluses.
Different numbers.
We have some pluses and what else?
And the bottom always stays the same.
The bottom always stays the same. That's a good observation. What else do you see? Jamari, what do you see?
I see plus, and
Should have said that.
equals, and, and 4s and 2s and 3s.
Okay, so you see all sorts of fractions, pluses and equal signs.
Jamari,
Jamarian,
I
what do you
guess.
see on here?
Pluses equals.
Oh my.
Pluses and equals, denominators, 4s, good. Now, the one thing that I want you to notice is, let's look at letter A. There's an equal sign in the middle. What does that tell you?
That's the done.
What do you think, James? We add them. So one side has to equal the other side because there's an equal sign. Doesn't the equal sign mean that to you? Yes or no? Yes? Okay. So let's figure out what this means. If we take a look at this section, let's add those numbers up and see what we get. The denominator stays what?
The same.
The same. So 4, right?
Yeah.
Add those 3 numbers up. What do you get?
7.
What?
7.
7. So 7/4. What about on this side? The denominator stays the same. So 4. Add those 2 numbers up. What do you get?
7.
So look at this. Is this a true statement?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Why is it a yes?
Because they're both the same.
Because they
It's
equal to each other. Now, just to make sure that we're on the right track, let's see letter B. Let's look at these 2 separate equations and see if we can figure out the answer. The denominator stays the same. What's 3 plus 4?
8.
What's 3 plus 4? 7. 7/4. On this side, the denominator stays the same. What's
6.
1
It's
plus
6.
4 plus 1? 6. Are these the same?
No.
7/4 and 6/4?
No.
No, we can cross that one out. Did we find our answer at the very beginning?
Told you it was A.
Yes, we did. So now, B is an imposter, C is an imposter, D is an imposter. Our answer was A, just by looking at the answer choices. But now let's match it up to our question, just to double check. This model can be shaded to represent 7/4. Which number sentence represents 2 different ways that 7/4 can be represented with shaded fractions on the model? Did we need to do all of the shading to figure that out? No. Look at that. We figured it out by looking at our answer choices first. Okay? So, before we finish, what is one thing that you learned about this lesson? Raise your quiet hand and tell me. Viviana.
The bottom number always stays the same.
The denominator always stays the same, right? Say it with me, denominator. Perfect. What else did you learn from this lesson? Jamarian?
I learned a lot of things.
Perseus, what did you learn?
My name is Jamari.
What did you learn, Perseus? What is one strategy that you can pick up from this lesson?
That you could turn fractions into decimals.
Perfect. You can turn fractions into decimals. Did
Not
you
all
learn
of
anything, James?
I know
Yeah, we can solve our questions by not looking at the question. By not reading the questions, we can find our answers. Did you feel like you learned something? You didn't learn anything?
Yeah.
Really?
What did you learn?
Okay.
Oh.
Adrian?
I want to know how to.
Convert
Convert fractions
into decimals. Good job. Now, make sure that your names are on top of your worksheets. Please bring your worksheets to Viviana's desk. Bring them over here, make a nice stack, and you can go back to your classes.
Wow.